Hi, you're listening to the My Body, My Story podcast.
I guess just keep doing the things that you want to do, set your own goals and go out and achieve them. Don't define yourself in terms of other people, but just keep your own identity, which was something that was interesting because, being married, you find that people tend to relate to you.
This is the 45 over 45 chapter, where we celebrate rule breakers and role models, the women who inspire us to live life our way and to show their sensuality, beauty, soul, and true essence. I'm your host, Alina, and I'm interviewing 45 women over the age of 45 while they're sitting in my makeup chair and getting their makeover for the project's photo shoot. Here we talk about what it's like to be 45 plus, adjusting to the changes that come with time, and we'll listen to the stories of our participants. If you have an interesting story to share, we'd love for you to participate. You can email us on info@alexandrawalker.com, and that's Alexandra spelled with a KS, or visit our website alexandrawalker.com. Welcome, Julie. Thank you for joining us today. While you sit in my makeup chair and get your hair and makeup done, let's talk about you. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay, great. Oh, where to start? So my name is Julie Osborne, 50 years old, just turned 50 last year, and born and bred in the Sutherland Shire. Oh. So, yes, a Shire girl.
A Shire girl.
So I work in health services. So at the moment I manage a small health service. So I guess that's been something I've achieved in my life. So I've started out as the receptionist and worked my way up to manager with a lot of work in project management in between. So it's been quite an interesting journey.
What company is it?
So it's with South Eastern Sydney Local Health District. So I've worked with local health districts, also at the Commonwealth level in health and at the state level in health.
Oh, wow.
So I worked for New South Wales Health as well. Yeah.
What made you get into that field? What inspired you originally?
So I guess I always wanted to do something where you would help other people. Yep. So I studied a communications degree and I thought I don't want to come out of this and then just work in something like advertising where you're really just, making more money for people with already a lot of money. I thought I wanted to do something a bit more meaningful. So I wanted to work in health promotion. So to get a foot in the door with that, I started working just in the office in one health service, which was great because it gave me an opportunity to learn about how the district worked. Mm-hmm. So at least then I could apply for other positions, and when people said, what sort of initiatives would you do? At least I could say how I could implement things that could work across a whole health district and just know how that's structured. So that all worked really well. Wow. So I worked on some interesting projects. So I started out in breast screen, which was great. Such a lovely program that does a lot of work for a lot of people, something that's come under scrutiny lately.
What is it though?
So that's the free breast screening program. Okay. So yes, interestingly enough, I started working for that in my 20s, and now I'm of the age that I can actually go.
Oh, how funny, that's right.
So I have actually been, because I'd be too much of a hypocrite if I'd never had my own mammogram. Yeah. And now I know just how uncomfortable it really is.
Is it painful or just uncomfortable? I've never had it done.
Yeah, just uncomfortable, not really painful. I guess if you're really large, it could be a bit painful. Not something you'd go to for fun, that's for sure.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, but that was a really fun job and it was very immediate. So I'd be walking down the street and there a woman who had been to a talk that I'd been to. I gave a lot of talks in the community about breast screening and encouraging people to go. And one woman came up to me and said, oh, you came and spoke to my group the other day and we were all encouraged. And one of the women went along and she found she had breast cancer. I just thought, oh my God, that's so terrible. But the woman said, no, it was good. It was like you said, they found it really early and now she's fine. So she's so happy she went along.
That's right. See, had to, that's exactly what it's meant to do.
Yeah.
And it actually caught it early. I think it's great.
Yeah, so that was very rewarding to think, well, at least you can have that really immediate impact on people. Where she could have gone for, you know, another 10 years before she found it, and then that might have been a bit too late.
That's a huge impact, exactly.
Yeah.
Life and death kind of impact.
Yeah, I think our whole family would be happy with that. Worked on other projects building small health services in small country towns that had like a hospital and a nursing home where neither of them were doing very well. So you'd bring them both together in the one building so they can share admin staff, nursing staff, and that's a program that's still going now.
Did you have to, how involved would you be in that? Like, do you have to move to that town to get it started, to make those changes, or that doesn't work like that, it's all virtual?
Well, we were based in the city but did a lot of visits to the local community. Yeah.
What about hobbies? Do you have any hobbies?
Yep, I really like writing.
Uh-huh.
So that's something else that I do. I guess I've always been a writer. From when I was little, I was always writing stories and poems. And now I'm part of a writing group, which is great, just to talk to other people who are really interested in writing. And
would you write a book? Have you thought of actually writing and publishing a book?
Yep. Yeah. So with COVID, one day I was thinking, the world is like a disaster movie. There should be a romantic comedy to offset this disaster movie. And then I thought, well, why don't I write the romantic comedy?
That's right.
So I've written over half the novel now, so I'm really hoping that I can finish it maybe around the middle of this year. And it's actually, a romantic comedy that's set in COVID. Yeah.
I love it.
So it actually starts at the end of 2019 with the drought, just before the bushfires hit. And then we go through all the bushfires, and then we think, that's great. Then there seems to be a bit of news about this disease that's in China, and you think, well, will it be important? Will it not be important? And then, yes, of course, we see it blows out of control. But it's really a story about how it affects people at the local level. Yeah. So it's about this girl who's, late 40s and single. Really nothing like me.
Yeah.
And it starts off that her friend wants to set her up with this guy, and they're going to go to this New Year's Eve party down the south coast of New South Wales. So, of course, that doesn't happen.
Yep.
Because the character pulls out thinking, this could be dangerous. So, the friend and the love interest get evacuated. So, of course, that one doesn't work. Like, bushfires, real bummer on the dating front. Yeah. And then she starts to get interested in this guy at work, and they have this, oh no, we can't do it, it's too complicated because we're colleagues. Then they think, okay, we'll get together, we'll go out next weekend. And of course the Monday, that's when everything shuts for COVID.
Right. Mm-hmm. I like this.
So then they end up having to be a bit more creative. So they think, well, the only thing we can do is that two people can go walking together at 1.5 metres distance. So it's all a bit like, back to the days of Pride and Prejudice, where everybody goes wandering around in the garden, but everyone has to stay this distance from each other.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
so it kind of goes back to that, and like, how do you relate to that in the modern day when you're just so used to having all these freedoms?
That's true. Have you thought of the ending? I like good endings. happy endings.
Well, the happy ending, I've written so that it ends at the beginning of June 2020, which was the first end of lockdown. Right. So they actually go on their first date and they have their first kiss, and then they decide that, maybe we might need to self-isolate together.
Love it. Juicy.
But of course there's nothing for the whole book. It's just that building up of
but the build up
is
the build
up of the tension.
That's right. It gets your imagination going, right?
Yeah. So people are going, is there sex scenes in it? I'm like, hello, it's about COVID. Of course there aren't any sex scenes. They can't even stay in each other's house.
There will be at the end.
There will be at the end.
And have you thought of a name for this book?
Not really. Still thinking of a few names.
Okay, because I'll need to find it, You're going to have to message and tell us what it's called. I want to know what I missed out on during COVID.
Yeah, so it just goes through a lot of the simple things as well, like shopping and how much of a drama that was during COVID, just how stressed everybody felt just doing really ordinary things, and then half the things you wanted to buy you couldn't even buy.
Yeah, yeah, like toilet paper.
Yeah, going through that. Can't buy toilet paper, can't buy pasta, can't buy flour.
I'm still confused about the whole toilet paper bit.
It's very weird.
I understand the flour, I understand rice, but toilet paper
makes absolutely no sense.
No sense at all.
No.
If aside from writing, maybe there is something else that what are you most passionate about, or what else are you passionate about?
Well, apart from writing, I'm really passionate about all of the arts. Mm-hmm. So a couple of friends and myself, we go out to the ballet a couple of times each year. So that's nice. We've got our own little system set up where we go for dinner beforehand, then we see the ballet, and then we've realised that to get out of the Opera House car park, there's such a huge queue. Yeah. So then we have to go to the Gillian Cafe and have coffee and dessert while we wait for all the cars to leave.
Clever.
So that's a nice excuse.
I like that cafe.
Yeah.
I've been there a couple of times. It is beautiful.
So hard to decide what to have.
Yes.
So that's our nice little routine.
Beautiful.
Yeah, like going out to Sydney Theatre as well. Like going into the art gallery when they've got different exhibitions on.
All with the same group of people? Like a same little private club? Or
no, well, with different people. So, yeah, going to the theatre, sometimes I'll take girls I went to uni with, if that's a play that I think they'll like. In a couple of weeks, I'm going to see a play with a girl who I was in the Scouts with.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So this play, I thought, gee, I'd like to see that. And I thought, who will I go with? And then she writes on Facebook, does anyone want to see this play? And I thought, fantastic. Good timing, I'm in.
Yeah, exactly. Always in.
Yeah, always in for things.
Would have been difficult during COVID.
Like that. Yeah, so then, all these things that we haven't done for a whole year. So at least now we've got this massive credit for everything. So over the next 3 years, we can go and see some ballets and things that we've already paid for. So that's a nice little.
Every week got nice ballet happening.
Yeah, and I love music.
Mm-hmm.
All types of music, from sitting in a little pub singing an obscure little band, or one of the 80s bands that are still going around today. It's quite bizarre that you can still go out and see, John Stevens and Pseudo Echo and all these people, and they all still sound so great.
It's great that you can,
Yeah, and also like Eurovision.
Yeah.
So
who doesn't?
Yeah, so my dad's English. So Eurovision was something that he got my sister and I into early on. When SBS first started playing it, he's like, you've got to watch this show, it's really bizarre. So my sister and I thought, oh, okay, we were really little. So we were watching it and we're like, yep, you're right, this is really strange.
But entertaining.
Always entertaining. So that was the thing that my sister and I would always do with my dad. We'd sit there and watch Eurovision, and now it's on live, so now I have to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning and watch it.
That's commitment. You
that
actually
is
get up at 5:30 to watch it.
Yep.
Wow. Good on you.
Yeah. And I've actually been in to see it 4 times. So another one of my friends, he's also really mad keen for Eurovision. So after I got divorced, he said to me, right, this is it. If a really good country wins Eurovision, we're going to go. And that was the first year that Sweden won. So we're like, that's it, we're going to Sweden next year. So then we started from virtually the day after thinking, well, how do we organise this? How do you buy tickets when you're in Australia? So really it took us the whole year to work out how we could go. So we joined every single website that we could join. And then we started, when the tickets came up for sale, we tried to buy tickets and then we couldn't get anything in the public allocation. And then a friend who I go with, he's gay, and one guy sent him a personal message through Facebook because we're all posting going, oh my God, we can't get tickets. This is so terrible. And he said, well, I've got some tickets that you can use. And we thought, okay, well, how much is it? And it was expensive enough that we thought, oh, okay, have to think about this. But then it wasn't so expensive that we were missing out on a lot of money. So basically we went all the way over there, and we literally didn't know that these tickets were going to work until we went in.
Wow,
into the
that's
theatre.
really having faith.
Yeah. So anyway, luckily they did work. And then we learned that there are fan clubs that you can join, and they allocate tickets to members. So then we came back, and they started out, there's this club that's called like Rest of the World. So basically if you don't live in a European country, there was this Rest of the World fan club you could join that was actually run by this guy in South Africa. It was quite crazy. So then we found out that the instructions to join was that like you had to send your money to someone in Iceland who then spoke to this guy in South America. We're like, wow, this is really weird. But anyway, it worked out. So then we were able to get some ticket packages.
So it was actually legit, it wasn't dodgy?
No, it wasn't dodgy. It was quite funny because I was talking to some other people and they're like, really? You have to do this? And we're like, yep, just don't think about it, just do it. It all works.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So how was the experience there?
It was fantastic. Like you watch the show and you think everyone at the front looks like they're having such a fantastic time. And yep, everyone is having a great time. It's just like a big dance party with all these people from all over the world just getting together because they like the music. Where the first one we'd go to, they're playing all the music and we'd stand there trying to be cool. But everyone's just being complete dags and singing along to all the old songs. So you soon realise that wherever you are, where they play the music during Eurovision, everyone just starts singing along. Yeah. It's quite crazy. Yeah.
Sounds like an awesome party.
It's an awesome party. And then apart from the actual events, they have other free concerts during the day. So, yeah, you can go to those and see all the performers performing again during the day, and they do different signings. So I went the years that Guy Sebastian went and Dami Im went, and we're able to see both of them playing in like really small venues. So that was really fantastic as well.
It's a whole event. Like it's not just...
whole event, yeah. It's really a whole week activity because you've got the two semi-finals, then you've got the grand final and all these other events that happen around the place, and also trying to go out and do some sightseeing from being in an amazing town like Vienna or Stockholm, or being in Malmö and travelling around the area there.
Well, you're really selling Eurovision.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun. Yeah. It's a lot of fun. I met a lot of interesting Australians as well because, of course, to get there you really need to be a little bit crazy and very committed. So everyone you meet is quite out there.
Yeah. We'll make friends for life.
Yeah. Yeah. And then we now catch up in Sydney with different events around Eurovision.
So you had to go overseas to meet some Australians to catch up in Australia.
Yeah, pretty much.
Nice one.
Yeah. Yeah, one of those things. But yeah, I mean, catch up with a lot of other people from all around the world as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots of fun.
I really need to add the Eurovision to my bucket list.
You've
sold it.
Yeah.
Have to experience it.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
So Julie, talking about sort of moving into the age part, just to hear your thoughts on this. So everyone knows that with age we change, but what positive changes have you experienced as you're growing older?
I think probably the most positive change is that you just don't care anymore.
Yeah.
You just think, oh, whatever. You don't really care about what other people think of you or what they're doing. You just think, well, I'm doing what I'm doing, and if you have a problem with that, then that's just too bad. Yeah, I did a course for work where they gave us these T-shirts that have got "Think Outside the Box" written on them, and we had to come into the city for our last program. People are like, oh no, I have to wear something else. I can't wear my T-shirt. I'm like, yeah, whatever. Come into the city wearing my T-shirt. I don't care.
Yeah, it doesn't matter really.
Doesn't matter.
You stop overthinking little things as you grow older, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I think you just become more comfortable in your own skin, thinking, well, I'm just going to wear whatever, go down the street doing whatever. That's all up to you.
True. So what about if you had to think of a challenge? So what is the biggest challenge that you are experiencing at this age, if any?
Probably health, which is really annoying. So you do everything that you can to try and stay healthy, and then you kind of get to the situation where, you know, there's just one thing after another that just impacts on you trying to do what you want to do. So I had this problem with my feet called plantar fasciitis, and then that was really painful. So then got better from that, going back to the gym for a while, then ended up injuring my hip. So then you get over that, back to the gym for a while, had a melanoma in my shoulder, so then can't do any upper body weights. And then already with the hip, couldn't do any lower body weights. And you think, man, you're just trying to keep going forward and staying healthy, and all these things just happen. So I guess it's just taking that time to then get back up. And it's not easy when each thing happens. It takes a while to go, oh my God, how am I going to get back into a routine again? But
and
I think eventually you do.
How well it used to work, and then, you know, your body, the way it used to function, things you used to be able to do, and then it changes. It's hard to adjust to that, right? You know, you hurt your hip, and I mean, 10 years ago it probably wouldn't have happened, going to the gym.
Yeah, and I guess you still feel like you're probably about 27. I think I got to about 27 and then stopped. So mentally you're at that age, and then you realise, oh, I can't do these things anymore. Or I had one boss who, when she was 50, she injured her groin in the gym, and I just thought, what were you doing? What were you doing? And then I was at the gym doing this spin class the other day, and I'm thinking, should I be easing up a bit? I thought, it's not like I'm someone in their 50s. Then I'm like, oh crap, that was when I was in my late 40s. I thought, I almost am that person. But I thought, all right, well, I could see how she could injure herself.
So now you get it.
Yeah, because you just don't think you're that age. Because I remember my grandma saying, I still feel like I'm in my 20s. And I'm like, you're in your 80s. That's just insane. But now, yeah, I do get it. Yeah,
it's slowly sinking in.
Yeah, like other people think, yeah, you're 80, hello. But yeah, clearly you just don't think that.
But in her mind, she's still 27.
Yeah. Because I think my cousins still think I'm younger, because I've got older cousins and younger cousins, and I've been in that group of younger people. And they're like, yeah, you're still young. I'm like, hello, I turned 50 this year. They're like, oh my God, what does that mean for me if you're 50?
Well, because they think, because you're in that group, you know, they associate you with the same age as they are. So to them, you'll always be young like them. Whatever their age, it's like, automatically, she's the same.
Yeah, always be younger. I'm happy to stay with that.
If you had to describe your greatest accomplishment, what would it be?
That's a big one. Yeah, at work a lot of people would talk about their children as their greatest accomplishment, but then with myself not having children, I'm like, I've actually got to think of a real accomplishment to talk about. So, I've spoken a bit about work, but I guess in terms of life, I guess my greatest accomplishment is just being where I am now. So, I've been divorced for a while, and I guess I just took that opportunity to have a look at what I had, and then to build up my finances myself, I guess, to work towards a situation where I would still be in a good situation to retire. Because I guess that's that thing where you have your partner and you've got all your plans about what you're going to do and where you're going to travel to and what you're going to do financially. And then when that all falls apart, you think, okay, well, now I've got to start again from step one about how do I build myself up financially, because of course you always lose something out of that and end up in not a good situation. So yeah, I've really taken steps to get some education, which my ex would never have done, because he always believed that he knew everything, even though he didn't. So I guess I'm willing to say that I don't know. So I've been able to learn a lot to really set myself up well financially. So now I'm probably in a spot to retire, in a situation to actually retire better than I would have if we were still together. So yeah.
So really you became even stronger and more accomplished being on your own. You've grown rather than being a part of a relationship.
Yep. And then could tick off all those bucket list travel events without having to drive to drag someone else with me. So did those 4 Eurovisions, so travelled off to Scandinavia, where I'd always wanted to go. So I've been to Norway, Sweden, Denmark, Iceland. I always really liked the Vikings. So
Yeah.
I wanted to see a few of those Viking archaeological sites and the Viking ship museum and things that I've always wanted to see. So tick off those bucket list things. Went to New York, where I also really wanted to go there. Saw some plays. Saw all the I went to Tiffany's and bought myself some jewellery and went to Central Park and just went to all those places that you see in the movies and out to Statue of Liberty and all of that. Managed to have another couple of trips overseas to see my uncle in England before he died as well, so that was good to have another couple of visits with him. And my sister was living over in Spain, so went and stayed with her in Mallorca for a while. So yeah.
So what's left on your bucket list? Feels like you've done very well.
Japan, Peru.
Right.
Still lots of places to go. Very held up by COVID and my travel plans.
It's all right. You wrote a book, almost.
I've almost written a book, yeah. So I guess it's taking that opportunity to think, well, I really should now plan the best possible trip to Peru that I could possibly do with all this time and really save up for that and try and talk a few of my friends into coming with me. So that'll be
You've
fun.
Inspired me. Now I need to think of a place I want to go, at least, first one on the list, and start planning it.
Yep, definitely. We've got plenty of time on our hands to get that internet out and start planning.
So if you had to give yourself advice, so what advice would you give your 30-year-old self? So think back, what would you give your 30-year-old self?
Well, probably don't overthink things. And I guess don't be afraid of making mistakes, because things will just happen to you out of the blue anyway. So like with work, I put all this effort into getting a particular job, and then 8 years later I managed to get that job, and then of course the whole government does a restructure. That particular position goes off to another organisation. So then I had to think again, because this was shortly after my divorce as well. I'm like, oh my God, now I've just lost almost, everything, and now I'm losing the job that I had as well. So thinking, okay, well, what other steps can I take in my career? What else can I get into? So I've been doing a lot of work in mental health, which is a very interesting area because, as you can imagine, there's a lot of problems to solve in mental health and a lot of work to do there. So then worked in the chronic diseases side, which is what I'm doing at the moment, managing a small health service that helps people who've left hospital with chronic diseases like diabetes and heart disease, just to manage in the community. Yeah.
Good on you for not, giving up. I mean, you did sort of, your life, the way you knew it, did fall apart in one moment, really. But
it was like everything
up.
happens all at once. You just get over one thing, then everything else happens, which is kind of nice, I guess, that everything happens all at once, because then you've got all those years in between to build up and get on with things. Yeah, just get out there and keep having fun.
I like that. That should be a quote.
Yeah, well, the people who I was working with, whenever we went out at night, they developed this phrase about, well, when did you leave? Was it before or after Julie?
Yeah. So you're the
So I became the yardstick.
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah, like, oh, did you leave BJ?
You started something.
Yeah, started something there.
So what advice would you give other younger women who will eventually undergo these changes? So the ones that will get to your age, what advice would you give them?
I guess just keep doing the things that you want to do, set your own goals and go out and achieve them. Don't define yourself in terms of other people, but just keep your own identity, which was something that was interesting because, being married, you find that people tend to relate to you in relation to your husband. And then even when I was married, I went overseas by myself, and it was just it just felt so different that people talk to you as yourself, not as, the partner. And it just really struck me just how different that felt, where you think that really shouldn't feel different, but it was, quite interesting.
Yeah. So you're associated as a whole, like together, not individuals really, when you're in a relationship.
Yeah. Yeah, I was reading an article the other day about this woman going through menopause. It was all about, menopause and working, and I thought, okay, well, we're at that stage, so I'll read the article. And she's talking about how she writes what her day is, and she's like, well, then I eat cookies, and then I do all this stuff, and then she's talking about how she's feeling so bad and putting on all this weight and eating cookies. And I just wanted to write, well, for a start, just stop the cookies. Take control of what you're eating.
Problem identified.
That's right. Like, of course, have some cookies, but that's not your life. Just have everything, I guess, a bit in moderation. So, just stay healthy. I guess another tip of other advice for younger women. I guess it's the story that everyone has. That I remember my friend talking about her mum getting electrolysis for like facial hair, and at the time you just think, oh my God, that is just so terrible. I will just take that out of my head because that's never going to happen to me. And then, of course, the first hair that you find on your chin, it's like dark, and it's like feels like it's centimeters long and thick because you're just not looking for it.
And you start looking for what is it? Electrolysis. Electrolysis. Googling who does it. When can I make an appointment?
Oh my God! How do I get rid of this horrible thing? And how long has it been there? Because it's got so huge. Because you're just thinking that's never going to happen to me. So of course, you don't notice it until it's become such a huge thing, and then you think, oh my God, no one told me that was there.
And then you get paranoid and you start checking every day in the mirror. Is there a hair? Is it growing?
That's right, feeling your chin going, oh my God, that's terrible. And then just when you get to that point, then your eyesight fades and then you can't see them anymore.
Oh, that's bad.
So then you've got your glasses on in the mirror going, oh my God, do I need to fix my eyebrows? Do I need to fix my chin? Oh dear. Getting older. It's just so much fun.
Lots of fun. I'm looking forward to it. Thanks, Julie.
But yeah, keep going. I just keep going for a walk every morning. So I live near the beach, so I like to just go out and go for a walk along the beach. At the moment it's beautiful because you've got the sunrise in the morning, and you just get quite addicted to going out and thinking, I wonder what the sunrise looks like this morning. So it's just different every day, and the waves are just different every day, and even if it's cloudy, it's still very beautiful. Yeah. So that's nice. Yeah. Because I was doing that whole thing of getting up at 5:30 to try and get to the gym at 6, and I thought, this is just crazy. And then I read this article about this celebrity going, oh, I walk along the beach and I do yoga. And I thought, well, wouldn't that be nice? Yeah. And I thought, well, you can do that. So
that's right. You live right near the beach, so why not?
Yeah, so I thought, I'll forget this getting up at 5:30 in the morning to rush to the gym to make sure you can get a bike for the spin class. I thought, no,
go to the beach.
Go for a walk along the beach, and yeah,
and it's exercise.
Weights and things at home. So
that's right. It's exercise and it's fresh air.
Yeah. And it's sociable, so you meet your little people that you know every morning who you say hello to with their dogs.
That's right. It's kind of like a train ride, same people every day. That's right. To work and back. It's like, hey.
And then when it gets dark, there are fewer people, and then people come back and you think, hey, you haven't been sticking it out. I haven't seen you the past couple of weeks.
Have you been sleeping in, have you? I'm on to you, mate. I'm on to you.
Just because it was dark, no excuse not to be out.
That's right.
Still the same
I know
time.
It was a cold night last night, but I'm here.
That's
Why
right.
aren't you?
Put your longer tights on, you'll be fine.
So where do you think the idea of a perfect body image comes from?
I think it definitely comes from the media, and it's something, I guess, that changes over time. So we go from that whole, everyone wanting to be stick thin and slender, and then all of a sudden the Kardashians come out and everyone wants a huge butt. Yeah. You think that's just so crazy.
Yeah.
I think you've really just got to go with what you've got, really. Yeah. I think one of my favourite reality TV shows was that show with Trudy and Susanna with people in fashion, because it really just showed people that no matter what you look like, if you wear the right clothes, you look great. No need for plastic surgery and no need for all of that. I mean, if people want to do that, that's fine. But I just couldn't imagine going through all that pain for no reason.
I agree. You just have to find your style, find what suits you, and then you will look like $1,000,000.
Yeah.
Rocking what you have, because no one else has that. If you make yourself look like Kardashians or someone else, you're going to look like them rather than yourself. So it's, yeah, I think those that actually go out there and find their own style and, you know, bring out their best features, I think they're the most unique and beautiful.
Yeah, because we've all done that, standing in the dressing room in something that's really fashionable and you put it on and you go, yeah, no, just doesn't quite suit. And you think, if I lose weight or if I do this, will it look any better? And you just think, no, you've just got to learn, give it up.
Yeah, straight away people think that, oh, I'll change myself to fit into that. How about you just find different clothing that fits you the way that, you know, it makes you look and feel great, rather than trying to, oh, this isn't fashion. But tomorrow it won't be in fashion, so why would you change yourself for it?
That's right.
So what does it mean to you feeling good and looking good? What do you think comes first?
I think feeling good definitely comes first. So if you're, you know, doing a bit of exercise and eating well, I think that comes across in looking good as well, in terms of not being, you know, having a decent body size. I mean, I see people who like are really thin and you think, oh my God, imagine being like that. But then you find out that they're eating in a really weird way, or they're really obsessed with carbs, or there are certain things that they don't eat. And I think, nah, just got to have everything in moderation. You know, if a friend bakes a cake, you want to be able to eat that and enjoy it with them. You want to be able to go out with people and enjoy a good meal without stressing about every single thing you're putting in your mouth. So I think you've just got to get to the point of going, well, probably never going to look like Michelle Bridges, because I'm not going to live that lifestyle or do that many sit-ups or eat what she eats. So we'll just have to let that one go.
Yeah, it's all about balance, isn't it?
All about balance, yeah.
You don't want to think back and think, oh, my whole life I was on a diet, you know, how sad, right? Whereas if you eat everything but just in moderation, then surely it makes you happier.
Better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
What makes you feel most beautiful?
I think just knowing that you're wearing something nice and having all your hair done and...
We're halfway there.
Yeah. I think that makes you feel beautiful. But then I guess I've got other photos of myself that I really like where I'm just having the best time. So there's one of me where I'm on a boat and the wind's just blowing my hair, but I'm just having the best time. And I think I just look so happy in that photo as well. So I guess, yeah, having the hair and makeup thing is nice, but I guess just getting out there and enjoying life.
Yeah, that makes really you the most beautiful.
Well. Yeah. Yeah, because I went and had my hair cut last week to get all ready for today.
Good girl.
My hairdresser was saying, you know, and we'll talk about Carla Zampatti dying as well, and everybody, you know, talking about the clothes and how important they've been and how good they've felt in these really great clothes. Yeah. And yeah, she said, it really annoys me when people say that looks aren't important, because it's a multi-million-dollar industry. She's like, it's what I do. She's just like, you know, people, it is a fact. People do find clothes important, and
that's right.
They do find that they feel different in different clothes, and
yeah, it changes your mood. Yeah. You know, it doesn't have to be something in fashion. Even in fashion, just has to be something that you like personally, and it does lift your spirits, right?
Yeah, and you know, having your hair done, having your makeup done, all that's important.
Exactly. Couldn't agree more. You know, being a makeup artist. Anyone who likes to get their makeup done.
Yeah, and I guess, you know, when people see you walking down the street, they don't go, oh my God, she's so amazing. She's done, like, you know, a degree and 2 postgraduate qualifications. Everyone just judges you on your appearance anyway, and then has to take that time to get to know you.
That's right. Before they get to know you, it's the appearance, isn't it?
Yeah.
What is your favourite quote about being a woman? If you have one, or you heard something, or it's from a song or a movie, it doesn't matter, or it's your own.
My favourite quote about being a woman is in a book by an Australian writer called Sue Wolfe, and she's written this book of short stories. And one of the stories, she talks about watching the tango dance. And she says, when you watch the tango, the woman looks very fragile. She looks like she will fall over at any moment, where the actual truth, well, that's just an illusion. The actual truth behind the dance is that the woman is the one with the strength, and she's actually directing that dance. I think, oh, that's a really good metaphor just for women in general.
So even though we seem fragile, we're not.
We're not at all. No, we're the strength behind everything. We're the ones keeping it all together and keeping the show going. Yep.
Love it.
Yeah, I love that quote.
Proud to be a woman today. Thanks so much, Julie. Thank you for sharing your story with us and some beautiful, insightful things and wisdom and quotes. And you need to tell me once you come up with the name of your book, because I'm going to read that book. Thank you so much.
Thanks.
If you have an interesting story to share, we'd love for you to participate. You can email us on info@alexandrawalker.com, and that's Alexandra spelled with a KS, or visit our website alexandrawalker.com.